Okay, so yesterday, Republican Representative Jeff Van Drew told Fox News this about the drones in New Jersey.
You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward.
Now, the Pentagon came out and said that's not true. There's a state senator, you might have seen this on X last night. Here's what Doug Steinhardt said on these drones. Got 13.
The best information that we have available to us to this point suggests that these drones are coming from offshore, that when we try to make contact with them, they become evasive and elusive. You know, from my perspective, if they are American assets, if they're American military, if they're American drones, and I think we owe the American people answers or explanations, but they have to...
Stop. Now, Brian Bergen is another New Jersey assemblyman. He drove 2 hours for a private meeting with the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and everybody else. This was going around last night, and he left the meeting. He said it was the biggest bunch of bullcrap he's ever heard. He's former military. He said, we don't know what it is. Of course we know what it is. And they gave us no information. He was really angry. He's joining me here in about 4 minutes, so stand by. I think I know what these are, but I'm not ruling out the Iran thing. I mean, a strike right now would put the world at war. I don't think so. The Pentagon said no, but do you trust the Pentagon? The problem is here, we don't trust anybody because they've all betrayed our trust. That's why people voted on both sides for Donald Trump, because we have to know the truth. I want to bring in Brian Bergen. I saw Brian on, I think it was X yesterday. He's a New Jersey assemblyman that drove a couple of hours for this meeting with, you know, the DHS and, you know, the FAA and everybody that should know what the heck is going on with these drones. And he walked out early. He was so flaming angry. And I wanted to get him on today. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Thanks for having me, man.
You bet. So why'd you walk out yesterday? What happened?
Well, we got called down there. We being all 120 members of the state legislature of New Jersey, the Assembly and the Senate, got invited to come down to this special legislator-only briefing down in the state police headquarters. And the state police was there, and the Department of Homeland Security was there, and they were supposed to tell us what's going on.
Wait. Hang on just a second. So they didn't even come to you. They said to all of the legislators, instead of how many guys were speaking? 10?
Less.
Less than 10. Okay. All right. That's good. Yep. All right.
Yeah. So we all went there, and then the first thing that they say is this is not a classified briefing, and in fact, we could have probably let the press in. And then they just went on and said that they know nothing, and they have no understanding what's going on. They don't know where they're coming from, where they're going to, or who's responsible for it. And so I was just pissed that we're there to listen to such a Bush League amateur hour presentation that they could have given us by a text message. And what really got me upset was the primary reason why I left early was two things. the colonel of the state police said that he had a helicopter of his hovering directly above one of these drones, which he called a 6-foot drone, but he felt unsafe for his pilots and had them land. 10 minutes later, he says, hey, it'd be really nice to know where these things are coming from or they're going to. And I'm like, well, why did you follow the friggin' thing when you had it in your sights? I mean, I have no idea why.
Now, I want the audience to know. You were an Apache helicopter pilot in Iraq.
Yes.
You have a Bronze Star Combat Action Badge, several honors. You graduated West Point. You're not a nobody on what happens in the sky.
Right. That's exactly right. And I mean, first of all, when he said his people were hovering above it, I was like, well, that's stupid. Who hovers above a target? You know, you want to get a standoff distance and follow it, you know, so you can use your systems to track it. And it was just, yes, I'm speaking from some level of experience here, but more importantly, it was just common sense. You have this thing in your sights that you know is potentially a threat because we don't know where it's coming from, where it's going to, where it's controlling it, and it's 6 feet big in the sky, and you just let it go. I mean, it was mind-boggling to me. And the second thing that they said that really sent me through the moon was the Department of Homeland Security has some device that they're going to give to the state police that will help them identify drones in the sky, and it's supposed to be pretty cool technology. It filters out birds and stuff like that, and it's supposed to be really good. Anyway, one of my colleagues said, well, when are you going to get it? And the colonel of state police said it should be here in a couple days. And I was like, in my head, should be here in a couple days. Like, what the hell are you doing? Somebody go get in a van
and pick it up
and drive it to freaking New Jersey right now. You know, I mean, Glenn, this is the level of stupidity that we're dealing with here, and that's why I was so frustrated and continue to be frustrated.
So let me run a couple of things by you. First, somebody came out, a congressman came out yesterday and said, I've got it on good authority that it's Iran and they got a ship off. If that were true, would we not have followed these things back to the ship? Why aren't we, if they're going back over the water and they're not ours, why wouldn't we be blowing them up over the water?
Well, so that's a great question, and it was Congressman Van Drew who said that, and I think very highly of Congressman Van Drew, and he's not someone who normally says something outlandish like that. But
right.
In this case, I rag on our state government all the time, and in this case, Homeland Security. But our U.S. Navy is a force to be reckoned with.
Correct.
The best in the world. Now, I'm a West Point grad. It is Army Navy week, so I hope we beat the hell out of Navy this weekend. But I got to give them some respect. They would not allow an Iranian ship of any kind to get close to us. So
correct.
I find that to be pretty unusual that would happen.
So the next thing is, if we couldn't track these things, I've been in the New Jersey and New York area. There's a lot of airplanes in the sky. And if you can't track these and you don't know where they are, you would ground all of the planes because you don't know if they're hostile to planes. You don't know if one of them just gets into the flight path of another. There are planes everywhere in the sky. So again, that leads me to believe you can track these and you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know all the technology available to them. What I do know is we're the United States of America. And I live in a state, New Jersey, which has a $56 billion budget. The fact that we don't have the resources available to us to figure this out is ludicrous. And you're right. There's a lot of the concerns keep piling up now. One that you mentioned. What if they go dark, as the governor said? That's a danger to other aircraft that operate visual flight rules at night. There's a lot of potential issues here. Some lawmakers are calling for a shutdown of drone activity in the sky. But, we don't even know who these people are, what they're doing. They're certainly not going to listen if we shut down the activity.
Right. Let's take all the guns from the good guys. Right, I got it.
Yeah, right. But what we do need to do is common sense. It just needs to be an all-hands-on-deck approach. The state police, the National Guard, which can be mobilized by the governor, the Department of Homeland Security, and they need to follow one of these suckers to wherever it goes, and let's figure out who's responsible.
So here's what baffles me, Brian. You get one guy with a laser pointer in his backyard, and he points it at an airplane and a pilot, and the FAA tackles that guy. They grapple down from helicopters and make sure that never happens again. How do we, if this is some private citizen or citizens doing it, how would we not know that?
You're 100% right. And that's why in the interview I had yesterday and a couple others, I said it's a lack of effort. It has to be a lack of effort. The FBI is an amazing organization that takes down people all the time before they do all kinds of crazy stuff. They have a litany of successes that they can point to of stopping things before they happen because of their counterterrorism efforts and their intelligence efforts. Why the hell they can't find anybody responsible for this or pick up any chatter is crazy.
Okay, so let me give you my theory, and please, if you think it's nonsense, shoot it full of holes. My uncle used to be in military intelligence back in the 60s and 70s, and he did all of the nuclear stuff. And when the stealth B-1 bomber came out, the wing, he said, old technology. And I said, what? And because remember, it was first spotted, and they were like, what is that? It's a UFO. And he's like, that's been available for a while. They'll announce it to the country, and they'll fly it around, and then people will speculate, and then they'll say, oh, yeah, we have a B-1 bomber. It's new. I think a good chance is we are sending someone a message, or we're doing something with Russia just launched, a hypersonic missile. It doesn't make sense that our government doesn't know what this is and can't stop it and doesn't see it as a danger. What makes sense is they're lying to us. They know what this is, and it's not extraterrestrial, and it's not any of that crap. What do you think?
Yeah, well, so I don't disagree with the premise that you have here. One of the things that I will say is unique to this area and where all this is happening is we have a military installation called Picatinny Arsenal. And it's very important to Picatinny Arsenal that there's good community relations because, we want to maintain that here, and it's a huge resource for the Army where it's at. Any uncertainty about what's going on military-wise around here is bad for them and bad for the future of Picatinny. So they have an incentive to over-communicate when things are happening, and they often do that when they're doing testing. They over-communicate. So in this area here, it's probably unlikely that there would be anything that the government would want to do that would cause, public concern.
So then what are you left with that makes sense to you the most?
To be honest, I'm not left with much. The only thing, before I went to this briefing, I would have told you it's FedEx or UPS or Amazon testing out delivery capabilities of aircraft, and they want to do it at night so as not to freak people out. But then, by this point, it's blown up so high, you would think somebody would say something. They would say, oh, yeah, hey, it's us. Chill out. But so I really don't know. I'm legitimately concerned, and I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not one that jumps to conclusions, but the fact that nobody knows and the people who are supposed to know give us no confidence. And you
believe they don't know. You believe they don't know.
Yeah, I do. And now, could the CIA know? Maybe I wasn't briefed by them, but I believe the state police and the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon do not know. I really do. And that's scary. It's equally as scary if I'm wrong. And they do know, and they're doing this to us. So,
but that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
It's always like, it could be this, which would mean Jesus is coming, but it could mean this, which would end with Jesus coming.
But yeah, that's right, Glenn. But in this situation, this is the part that frustrates me. They can just figure it out. I don't understand. I told them, give me a platoon of men, a couple Apache helicopters. We'll follow these friggin' things, and we will figure it out for you. Somebody can get this done. They're just choosing not to do it.
I know somebody with an Apache, a private individual with an Apache helicopter.
Well, let's get it over here, Glenn. I'm ready to go. I'm a little rusty probably, but I think I can figure it out.
They're probably listening right now. If you want to check in, we'll maybe line that up. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Appreciate it. God bless you, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Take care.